What's up, everyone? Welcome to the June 28th edition of DraftKings Tournament Plays presented by PrizePicks. I'm your host, Adam Scherer. You can follow me on Twitter at ShipMyMoneyDFS. And as a reminder, use the code AWESEMO when you sign up and make a deposit at PrizePicks. You'll receive one free month of Stokastic Plus Platinum. You'll also receive a 100% deposit bonus up to $100 on your first deposit. You have a full 15-game MLB slate tonight. So as usual, we're going to take a look at 3 of the top tournament stacks and 3 of the top tournament pitchers using the top stacks tool and the top pitchers tool on the Stokastic.com website. Starting with the top 3 stacks. Number 3, the Toronto Blue Jays are taking on Michael Wacha tonight in Toronto. The Blue Jays are projected for 4% aggregate ownership with a 5% chance of being the top scoring stack. Wacha this year has been fine. He struck out he has a 4.11 xFIP. He has struck out 18.5% of hitters. But the Blue Jays are a very good offense. They have a 112 WRC plus on their active roster. They have George Springer back. They have a 174 ISO on their active roster. And there is a game in Coors Field tonight where the Dodgers are expected to pull a ton of ownership. So it's going to lower the ownership on other offenses like the Blue Jays that are in decent spots, but not Coors Field. Number 2, the Cincinnati Reds taking on Keegan Thompson. Thompson's been decent for the Cubs this year, striking out 22.2% of hitters with a 4.22 xFIP. But the wind is expected to be blowing out tonight in Chicago. Looks like favorable hitting conditions in Wrigley Field. The Reds are a below-average offense with a 93 WRC plus and a 140 ISO. But individually, there are some solid bats in that lineup where you have Jonathan India, Tommy Pham, Joey Votto, Stokastic, we know, has some power. So against Thompson, the Reds are projected for 5% ownership with a 5% chance of being the top scoring stack and a 4% chance of being the top value stack. And number 1, the Texas Rangers are taking on Jonathan Heasley tonight in Kansas City. Heasley has only struck out 17.8% of hitters with a 5.24 xFIP this season. Texas is projected for 7% ownership with a 7% chance of being the top scoring stack and a 4% chance of being the top value stack. They have a 103 WRC plus and a 168 ISO on their active roster. I feel pretty comfortable saying that they would be a lot more popular in this matchup if the Coors Field game did not exist. Now, looking at the top 3 tournament pitchers, number 3, Tarik Skubal, $9,100. He has a difficult matchup against the San Francisco Giants, but he is facing them in San Francisco, so it's a positive park shift for Skubal. He's struck out 26.3% of hitters with a 3.1 xFIP so far this season. He's a very good pitcher, and he's only projected for about 3% ownership with a 10% chance of being a top 2 pitcher and a 5% chance of being a top 2 value pitcher. The Giants' active roster has a 114 WRC plus with a 21.9% strikeout percentage. Number 2, Sean Manaea is taking on the Arizona Diamondbacks tonight in Arizona. He's $9,300 and only projected for 6% ownership with an 11% chance of being a top 2 pitcher and a 4% chance of being a top 2 value pitcher. Arizona's active roster only has a 91 WRC plus with a 23.1% strikeout percentage. Manaea this season has struck out 25.5% of hitters with a 3.75 xFIP. And number 1, Charlie Morton taking on the Philadelphia Phillies tonight in Philadelphia. We just got a Phillies lineup. We know that Bryce Harper is inactive, so the lineup is going to be a bit weaker than normal. But the actual lineup for the Phillies, double checking it right now, actually, Kyle Schwarber, Rhys Hoskins, Nick Castellanos, JT Realmuto, Gregorius, Herrera, Baum, Stott, and Moniak. So pretty much what the projected lineup was. And the point here is that with no Bryce Harper, this lineup just does get a bit thinner. You take one of the better hitters in baseball out of that lineup. If Morton is able to navigate the top of this order with Schwarber, Hoskins, Castellanos, Gregorius, Realmuto, things get a bit easier as you get towards the bottom. And most importantly for Morton, he's only projected for 10% ownership with a 12% chance of being a top 2 pitcher at $9,700. The Phillies' active roster has a 96 WRC plus and a 23.1% strikeout percentage. So to recap, the top 3 tournament stacks tonight on DraftKings: number 3, the Toronto Blue Jays; number 2, the Cincinnati Reds; and number 1, the Texas Rangers. And the top 3 tournament pitchers: number 3, Tarik Skubal; number 2, Sean Manaea; and number 1, Charlie Morton.